was at the last call of Dhankhar as the Vice President. Ladies and gentlemen, last evening, something happened between 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. Jagdeep Dhankhar, who resigned as the Vice President of India last night, a little after 9 p.m., spoke to a Congress leader a little after 7:30 p.m. And that Congress leader was Jairam Ramesh. Now, there is a huge political speculation on the nature of the call and what was discussed in that call between Jagdeep Dhankhar and Jairam Ramesh. Was there a phone call? Yes, there was. What time did the phone call happen? Between 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. And there is huge speculation on what was discussed in that phone call. Now, was he taking a very pro-opposition line on impeachment? Was that call something to do with MPs, over 50 MPs meeting last night? Impeachment versus impeachment, was that another thought that came to the mind of the treasury benches? Was there an attempt to embarrass the government on impeachment? Now, these are some questions that remain. Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor, joining us on the story because we have some details about that phone call, and perhaps the government knew something. Now, we are hearing that perhaps the government knew something about Dhankhar's extreme proximity to some Congress leaders in the last few days. Now, there was a phone call between 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. And even Jairam Ramesh, the Congress leader, has admitted to that. He has said that this was what he put out. He said the sudden resignation of the Vice President and the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha is as shocking as it is inexplicable. I was with him alongside a number of other MPs until around 5 p.m. today and had spoken to him over the phone at 7:30 p.m. So, we are hearing that that phone call, which Jairam Ramesh himself said was at 7:30 p.m., continued perhaps well into 8 p.m. It was over 30 minutes duration, and this is what Jairam Ramesh said. He said, no doubt Mr. Dhankhar has to give topmost priority to his health, but he claimed that there was more. Yes, there is more. Let me go across to Abhishek, who is joining me live, Abhishek Kapoor. Abhishek, now this call is under scanner, right? We know something happened perhaps. Isn't it unusual that he speaks to Jairam Ramesh for half an hour and perhaps in what could have been one of his last calls as the Vice President of India, and that was to Jairam Ramesh. Now, what are the questions that emerge, Abhishek?
Well, Niranjan, in the game of cloak and dagger that politics is, this is the most clear giveaway insofar as what was happening yesterday in Parliament that led to ultimately the resignation of Jagdeep Dhankhar as Vice President of India. Remember, the story as it is emerging now is that Jagdeep Dhankhar as Vice President was doing things which were not aligned with what the Modi government really wanted done insofar as impeachment of Justice Verma is concerned. So the move was to bring it in the Lok Sabha. The move was to have it, give it a bipartisan picture. The move was that the government would be seen to be leading from the front in tackling corruption, particularly in higher judiciary. And then you have parallel move being made by Vice President as Chairman of Rajya Sabha to let the opposition sort of steal the limelight, let the opposition sort of take a lead. And this move of Jagdeep Dhankhar, the government was not aware. The government was caught unawares, and that was really not appreciated. Now, of course, there was a backlog of Jagdeep Dhankhar positions which were not liked earlier by the government. For example, the comments she had made on agriculture, in the presence of Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the comments she had made sometimes, rubbing the government the wrong way, or even the manner in which he was taking on the judiciary again and again and again. Maybe the government did not want to really up the ante, but still carry on with the impeachment and to show that they were doing it and they wanted it done to be in the Lok Sabha. So for Jagdeep Dhankhar to have made a parallel move in direct, making a direct move along with the opposition was not appreciated. Remember, while that last phone call also is a giveaway as to why Jagdeep Dhankhar did what he did, he also met Jairam Ramesh a day before, and so the government came to conclusion that maybe Mr. Dhankar had stopped being on the side of the government on this issue, like some other issues, and that's why, he had to be told that either you resign or maybe then the MPs would come along. Remember, if you have to remove the chair of the House, you just need a simple majority of the House, and that bit was almost ready, is what we are being told by our sources, that had the Vice President not resigned from his chair, move was ready to remove him by the process or procedures that are available for the members of the Rajya Sabha, and the government would have made a move today, Jagdeep Dhankhar sensing that and resigning before. But of course, the fact that he made a call to Jairam Ramesh, and Jairam Ramesh mentioned it in his post, and that he met Jairam Ramesh a day before, clearly an indication that the Vice President, the former Vice President now, was working in tandem with the opposition. Not only that, he was keeping the government in the dark, and that was obviously crossing a certain red line, for which, of course, he had to pay.
Now, Abhishek, did he exceed any brief? If he did, what was the brief he exceeded? Now, was there a thought? Of course, this matter pertained to the impeachment of Justice Verma. Was there another thought that perhaps came to the mind of some in the government on maybe impeaching Dhankar? Is there a thought? Because there is some speculation around that.
100% that would have been the case, though of course on record nobody would say that. And but what we are gathering from our sources, Niranjan, is that he was asked to really go. And if obviously had he said no, he will not go, of course the possibility of him being removed by an impeachment motion is offset by the fact that he resigned. But obviously, had he not done that, then the next move would have been to remove him by the processes and procedures available, insofar as removing the head of the chair of the House is concerned. It never reached that stage. Remember, this comes amidst reports that the MPs in batches of 10 yesterday went in the chamber of Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and then signed those papers. Now, it was left at that. Whether those papers were to sign for the impeachment of Justice Verma or the impeachment of Jagdeep Dhankhar has been left unsaid. But we get to hear from sources, given the fact that so far as the process of Justice Verma's impeachment is concerned, the motion had already been signed by 100 plus MPs in the Lok Sabha. And since the government was very clear that there is no point in moving in the Rajya Sabha at this stage, then obviously the evening process, when the MPs of Rajya Sabha from the Treasury benches went in the office of Rajnath Singh and signed those papers, obviously that was essentially a preparation to get impeachment for Jagdeep Dhankhar also going, just in case he does not resign. But obviously he evaded that possibility by putting in his papers by 9:25 p.m. last evening.
Okay, the impeachment of Justice Verma seems to have been, the sticking point here. What was it that Jagdeep Dhankhar perhaps was discussing with the opposition on Justice Verma that the government was not happy about?
Well, you see, the government was very clear, Niranjan, as I mentioned earlier, that any move to impeach Justice Verma, the government has to remain in control of the process, and that it has to happen via the Lok Sabha route. And that's why, remember, early part of the day, we had those pictures coming in of senior leader of the BJP, Ravi Shankar Prasad, taking a delegation to meet the Speaker Om Birla and then submit that motion with signatures of 100 plus MPs from the Lok Sabha. And remember, in the case of Lok Sabha, the number of MPs included those who had signed the petition or the motion to impeach Justice Verma included opposition MPs. While in the case of Rajya Sabha, when the reports emerged that parallel process has been initiated by Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar, the Treasury benches were in the dark. No MP from the government side was part of the was a signatory to the motion, and it was entirely an opposition move. That made the government think that maybe the Vice President has really switched sides, so to say, on this specific issue of impeachment of Justice Verma, and the government had to move.
Stay with me, Abhishek, because our colleague Harsha was at the parliament today and she tried speaking to some of the parliamentarians on what they felt about the exit of Jagdeep Dhankhar, the sudden and shocking exit of Jagdeep Dhankhar. Here are some of the parliamentarians who spoke exclusively to Republic on the Dhankhar controversy today.
the Vice President resignation. What's your opinion on it?
I feel serious doubt about it. I have seen him on the dais and I have seen him working properly. He was in the house yesterday in morning. Then he was participating. He was advising people to follow whatever instruction is given. And suddenly, all of a sudden, the resignation in which he has quoted is ill health. I don't believe. I mean, age is a factor, but then it was not that serious that he could abstain from the house and something like that. And within last 15 days, or you can see in a month, have you ever heard Honorable Dhankarji's health is not good? He has gone for checkup or nothing. He was absolutely fine.
You also believe that's a more that meets
because
the eye.
the silence of the BJP speaks a volume. That's all.
Yes, everybody was very shocked and taken aback. No one saw this coming, and I don't know what compulsions or what reason, but I wish him all the best for good health. And that is our primary focus, as he said, that for health reasons he's resigning. I hope there is nothing that serious about it, and we wish him good health.
What does Akali Dal feel about it? Because everyone is stating that VP looked better yesterday. He convened Raj Sabha. BSc meeting was also convened by him. Are you also of the opinion of the same what opposition party leaders are mostly stating?
I don't know what opposition parties are saying. I have not had an opportunity to meet him, so I cannot comment on it. I can just go by the letter and what is in the social media, and I can just say that we are very shocked and saddened, whatever happened, and we pray for his good health.
Jagdeep Dhankhar a few days back had even indicated that he would remain the Vice President of India till his tenure ends in 2027. Here's that soundbite. So, he was clear he's going to stay, but why did he quit last night? Here's that soundbite.
I will retire at the right time. August 2027. Subject to divine intervention. I will retire at the right time. August 2027. Subject to divine intervention.
Okay, Abhishek, I'm going back to Abhishek because that call between Jairam Ramesh in fact tweeted Abhishek, said that I spoke to him, we all met, we all were in the same room at 5:30 p.m. and then I spoke to him again at 7:30 p.m. on the phone. So it was clear that he was obviously talking to the opposition MPs and he was meeting them. But when he met the opposition MPs in that meeting, which has been discussed at length today, they were not there. That is, the BJP MPs were not there, right? So it's obvious that the entire party perhaps was miffed with Dhankhar all along. It's not only about last night, but it seems to have been something that's building up.
Yeah, absolutely, Niranjan. So, look at the irony. Just 3 sessions back, this is the same opposition that brought in an impeachment motion against Jagdeep Dhankhar. They wanted him removed. This is the same opposition which 2 sessions back was holding a skit session outside the house, outside the parliament, and mocking Jagdeep Dhankhar. Remember that very famous Kalyan Banerjee footage where he's mimicking rather the then Vice President. And now the same opposition is all praise for Jagdeep Dhankhar. They are calling him his guru. They are calling him a sophisticated legal mind. And I mean, much of it might be true also. But the fact of the matter is that this change of positions is essentially because Jagdeep Dhankhar was engaging with the opposition in a manner that was not aligned with the priorities and objectives of the government. The classic example of which is this impeachment motion, where the government was very clear that they want to bring the process in the Lok Sabha and not in the Rajya Sabha. And yet, if Mr. Dhankhar started this process, not only that, if he kept the government in the dark of the process to the extent that he accepted the motion from the opposition ranks and that no MP from the treasury benches was involved in that, insofar as the Rajya Sabha is concerned, then obviously the government really did not appreciate, not just not appreciate, it realized that this is crossing of a certain red line, which should not have happened. And that's why, as I mentioned, I get to hear from our sources that Mr. Dhankar was told in no uncertain terms that either he has to make way or the government would follow the procedure to get him removed, which obviously means that he would have been impeached. So while the story begins with the impeachment of Justice Verma, it ends with the possibility of Jagdeep Dhankhar himself getting impeached had he not resigned, which obviously he did, facing the choices that he had. But the fact of him having a phone call with Jairam Ramesh is something which is a giveaway about how the forces were getting aligned as a build-up to his resignation, and in a way it's a giveaway of the realignment of Jagdeep Dhankar's position also vis-a-vis the government. The fact that last of his phone call happened to the opposition leader, in this case the chief communication, the head of communication of the Congress party, and not the government, is something which speaks volumes about the status of his relationship with the government in the last few hours of him being vice president of the country.
Okay, thank you for that. Abhishek, stay with me. In fact, here's also a video on the highlights from Jagdeep Dhankar's last day in Parliament. He was in Parliament last evening and it was business as usual, but something changed a little after 9 p.m. Here is Dhankar's last day, that is yesterday, inside Parliament.
Then the Speaker, or as the case may be, the Chairman may. August for Independence Day celebrations. A number of important legislative proposals are scheduled. Leader of the House, now sir, you have made your point, sir. Only what Leader of the House will go on record. No. Deeply engaged in political and social work in Assam, Shri Birendra Prasad Bes.
রাজ্যসভার সদস্য নির্বাচিত হওয়াত ঈশ্বৰ নামৰ শপত
Congratulations. I wish you the best. Honorable members, the day belongs to the leader of the opposition. On behalf of this House and myself, warmest greetings and heartfelt wishes to Sri Mallikarjun Kharge, leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha. Our 5-decade political journey powerfully demonstrates unwavering commitment to democratic values and tireless national service. Tragic and cowardly terrorist attack in Pahalgam on April 22 took innocent lives, deeply wounding our collective conscience. In response, our nation stood united, rallying behind Operation Sindoor to neutralize terrorist hideouts across the border. The resolute bravery of our armed forces, combined with the steadfast solidarity of our people, powerfully reaffirmed our unwavering commitment to protecting the unity and integrity of the Republic. Honorable members, with deep sorrow I refer to the tragic crash of Air India Flight 171 on 12 June, claiming 240 lives. This heartbreaking tragedy has brought immense grief nationwide. While investigations continue, we mourn this profound loss. On behalf of the House, I offer heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families and to all those affected by this tragedy. Honorable members, this session comprising 21 sittings includes a recess. I have received a notice of motion under Rule 167 from Sri Samik Bhattacharya to discuss Operation Sindoor, a landmark in military brilliance and diplomatic outreach, which I have admitted for discussion as no day yet named motion. The date and time for discussion would be decided after consultation with the leader of the House and other leaders.
I need to inform you that I have received notice of motion under Article 217, 1B, read with Article 218 and Article 124, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution of India, along with Section 31B of the Judges Enquiry Act 1968, to constitute a statutory committee for removal of Justice Yashwant Verma, Judge of the High Court of Judicature at Rajasthan, at Allahabad. This has been received by me today. It is signed by more than 50 members of the Council of States, and thus it meets the numerical requirement of signing by members of Parliament for setting in motion a process for removal of a High Court judge.
Big debate coming up at 8 p.m. tonight with Arnab, where he will be looking at the Jagdeep Dhankhar exit controversy as well. Trending next with Rakshita. Stay tuned.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IAHM.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
I hereby rule that RSS is an organization that has full constitutional rights to participate in the development journey of this nation. This organization bears unimpeachable credentials, comprises of people who are deeply committed to serving the nation selflessly.
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has resigned due to health reasons, effective immediately, citing Article 67A of the Constitution. This makes him the third Vice President in Indian history to resign before completing his term, with 2 years remaining. Dhankhar's tenure was marked by his firm stance on constitutional propriety and national pride as Rajya Sabha chairman. He leaves behind a legacy of unwavering dedication to parliamentary dignity and defending India's sovereignty. Looking back at his tenure, our first defining moment takes us to December 2023, when TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee mimicked Dhankhar during a protest outside Parliament. The Vice President's response was swift and uncompromising.
Nothing will go on record, Digvijay Singh ji. आप अनुभवी नेता हैं। आपने मेरी बात तो सुन, आप मेरी बात भी नहीं सुनना चाहते। नहीं, मेरी बात, मेरी पीड़ा नहीं सुनना चाहते।
I'm excited to be a part of the Republic AI Pre-Summit on July 25th, where we will be discussing the India's AI leap, the innovations, the impact, and the future of AI in shaping a new India.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा। सिक्योर्ड मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Sarah, this is your space, play it your way.
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना,
अपने देश का सामान,
इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH।
From your smartphones to the smart televisions, the trending stories are breaking the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, after a long wait of 15 months, the formidable Apache helicopters, the tanks in the air have finally arrived in India. We'll get you all that you need to know about it. We're also tracking the story of the ISRO-NASA joint mission. The NISAR is one of the most expensive satellite viewers and the biggest collaboration. On the other side of the world, it's a Junior Biden who had a complete meltdown when asked about Donald Trump. There is more to the story than what meets the eye, viewers. And of course, viewers, we are going to get you after flight in Indian skies for 62 years. Indian Air Force's old war horse, MiG-21, is all set to now bid farewell. Not just this, a White House post has gone viral that labels Trump as a hunter. Needless to say, the internet is in absolute splits. Back at home in India, the fighter jet F-35B, who had in fact overstayed here in Kerala, has finally bid adieu to India. It has left for Australia now. Last but not the least, World War II relics were discovered in Manipur. We'll get you all that and more. This is Trending. I am Rakshita Mishra. Viewers, after a delay of over 15 months, the Apache attack helicopters touched down in India, marking a new era in combat readiness. One of the world's most advanced attack helicopters. These choppers are designed to deliver powerful strikes in hostile combat zones. That's a breathtaking view of that deadly helicopter. The Apache is equipped with a powerful 30mm M230 chain gun, laser-guided Hellfire missiles, and Hydra 70 rockets for precision strikes. The longbow radar mounted above the rotor allows the Apache to detect, to track, and prioritize the threats without exposure. The chopper can engage multiple ground targets simultaneously, making it a formidable asset on the battlefield. Apache features armored crew compartments, crash-resistant fuel systems, and hardened rotors, ensuring it can withstand damage and complete mission. Meanwhile, viewers, there's good news coming in. India is steadily advancing its space gears. The Indian Space Research Organization and United States NASA are all set to collaborate to launch the synthetic, that is the NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar, or the NISAR mission. Now, the countdown has begun. The launch has been scheduled for the 30th of July from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, and it's said to be the most expensive US and India space partnership. Now, it's a powerful radar satellite that will scan the Earth's surface, creating detailed 3D maps of our planet. By using advanced radar technology, NISAR will be able to capture images of Earth's surface day and night, regardless of weather conditions. It will also monitor the Earth's surface for signs of deformation, helping scientists track earthquakes and volcanic activity. NISAR will provide scientists with real-time data, enabling them to respond quickly to natural disasters and monitor climate change. In fact, viewers, now we have a former ISRO director, former ISRO Deputy Director Venkateshwar Sharma joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Sharma, thank you so much for joining us on Public TV. And this is, of course, a major boost. It's touted as the most expensive satellite, and more than 700 crores have been invested in here by ISRO. So, what is the significance of it? What is the importance of this satellite, sir?
Good evening to you, and good evening to million Republic viewers, as usual. Of course, it is one of the finest satellites that the world is going to see, civilian satellite from the point of view of the, synthetic aperture radar. Look, this is a most complex satellite which was conceptualized during 2007 by the international science team, which envisaged a requirement of such a satellite with L-band and S-band are associated, and NASA came out with the proposal for making the satellite. But and they were looking for a partner who is equally strong and equally powerful in terms of technical technology, commercial, etc. And during 2011, 2012, the contract was signed between NASA and ISRO for making the satellite. Okay, this is an $1.5 billion approximately satellite, and one of the heaviest satellite of this class, and this is the only satellite which is having the capability of S-band as a L-band, and with a very high resolution with the 2D solid earth displacement mapping, 2D ice sheet and a glacier display mapping, sea ice velocity mapping, biomass displacement, and propellant integration area mapping, etc. is something which this satellite is very unique in its capability. And also this has a very specific, ISRO-specific focus area applications such as ecosystem monitoring of agricultural crops and crop biomass, soil moisture, forest inventory, biomass change, and carbon sequestration, and solid earth risk assessment and management through monitoring seismic and post-seismic activity, etc. Cryosphere monitoring of monitoring of dynamics of the polar ice sheet, etc., so that how the ice sheet, etc., is going to melt, and oceanography, retrieval of ocean physical parameters, and coastal process monitoring, and also disaster response, extremely important disaster response. Whenever there is a change in weather, whenever there is a change in atmosphere, etc., these satellites are going to give very precise information. Please look at the specification of the satellite. This satellite has capability of revisiting the Earth every 12 days, and it has very high resolution data capability. It's going to generate trillions of petas, bytes of data for the science and scientific application. Is one of the most advanced and most crucial and the one of type of interaction and interface between the two countries, America and India, and NASA and ISRO. This is where we stand. And the satellite is made by us, and the payload is given by NASA, and S-band payload is also done by ISRO. And the launch is by our own GSLV, the proven GSLV vehicle. Therefore, we have from ISRO and India, we have the substantial share in development and launching of this NISR satellite. Over to you.
Absolutely. It's going to be a milestone indeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for joining us on Public TV with your views on that. Viewers, we shift our focus to another trending story. In the dramatic turn of events, former US President's son, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, slammed actor George Clooney for his 2024 op-ed in the New York Times, calling to change their presidential nominee for the 2024 US elections. He has taken aim at George Clooney, who was in fact earlier campaigning for the Democrats. And then, of course, there was a complete meltdown as far as that Hunter Biden is concerned. After slamming Clooney, Hunter also targeted Washington, and this time it's none other than, of course, President Trump, with Biden Jr. calling him the dictator thug. He criticized Trump's immigrant policies, saying that all of the deported immigrants must return to the US. All right, so bring back the immigrants. In fact, he has talked about how many of the whites have been behind what's been happening in America. Hunter's statements now have taken a political turn and has divided the internet. Some people are unapologetically supporting Hunter's statements, while others have vehemently rejected it. As one user went on to say that Hunter is indeed correct, others say he is not right. He's not the right guy to teach about moral values. All right, viewers, with that, we will be shifting our focus to the other stories that are making news from across the world. This is the Hot Trends on Trending. Royal Navy F-35 fighter jet is finally in the air to reach its destination after being stranded for almost 5 weeks here in India. Now, the jet was stranded over a technical glitch. The incident made some inspiring memes, scorn, ridicule, and even a Kerala tourism marketing campaign. Shubhanshu Shukla took to Instagram to post a recovery update. The video shows him practicing walking and physical exercises after his return from space. Now, Astronomer's HR head is unlikely to sue ex-CEO Andy Byron over sexual harassment case after the viral Coldplay kiss scam scandal. Remember, Astronomer's HR head Christine Cabot and then CEO Andy Byron were seen posing up at the Coldplay concert. The image went viral. Of course, the internet could not get enough of it. The Great North African Eclipse will bring over 6 minutes of darkness to parts of Europe, North Africa and the Middle East. Now, this is the longest land eclipse of the century. You do not want to blink for this one if you are in those countries mentioned, in those regions mentioned. Ayodhya's sacred cities that include the sacred sites that include the Ram Temple, Saryo Ghat and Hanuman Gadi received a floral tribute. The district administration showered flower petals across key spiritual and cultural landmarks. And Shubman Gill continues to face criticism on the England tour, with former cricketer Manoj Tiwari now saying that Gill is trying to imitate Virat Kohli's style from India's last England visit. The construction workers at Langthal in Imphal recovered some old weapons, ammunition and other items while digging for sewerage projects. Now, it is believed that these products were used during the World War II. So these are the World War II relics that have been recovered. Now, Darhali River overflowed at Rajouri in Jammu and Kashmir, triggering flood-like situation in the area. The schools and colleges have been shut for a day in view of the conditions. The Satara police on Monday arrested an 18-year-old boy studying in the 12th grade after he allegedly attempted to attack a schoolgirl with a knife over a reported case of stalking. Two 20-year-old engineering students from BITS Pilani have caught the attention of India's defense sector. Just 2 months into founding their startup, Apollyon Dynamics, they successfully developed and delivered drones to Indian Army units deployed in risk-prone areas. A video has surfaced online from an Indian corporate office where the employees showed off their dance moves to welcome a foreign client. Now, this has sparked a wave of mixed reactions on social media. While some viewers appreciated the display of hospitality, while others felt it might give an impression of informality in professional settings. An Indian student grabbed attention during his UK graduation ceremony by silently tearing a blank white paper on stage, protesting the UK government's proposed immigration white paper. The symbolic act was aimed at highlighting the frustration of international students over stricter post-study work rules, visa limitations and rising uncertainty. The Indian Air Force, with all its glory, will bid goodbye to the iconic fighter jet MiG-21 after 62 long years. Now, the fighter jets will retire in a special farewell ceremony in September 2025 as the journey that began in 1963 comes to an end. Now, the final two squadrons stationed at Nal Air Force Station in Rajasthan are lined up for decommissioning at the Chandigarh Air Base this year. Now, despite its combat achievements, the MiG-21 viewers has faced persistent safety concerns with over 400 crashes over the decades, claiming around 200 pilots and 60 civilians, leading to its grim nickname, the Flying Coffin. And joining us live, viewers, on this is the retired Group Captain SS Kailia, who is joining us right now live. Viewers, thank you so much, Captain, for joining us on Republic TV. And of course, you've flown, you've been a MiG-21 pilot. You have had a great experience flying this one. How do you see this development, and what was your experience? Why has it been so important? It's known as the old war house. It's war horse, and it's been the oldest, one of the oldest aircraft for the Indian Air Force. What has been your experience, and you feel that what really earned the bad reputation of flying coffin, sir?
Good evening, ma'am. First and foremost, thanks, and good evening to all the viewers. This is a very difficult kind of a thing to start with. The iconic aircraft and the backbone of IAF at one given time and in turn for the service for the country as well, being nicknamed in such a bad manner. But unfortunately, it had been trending that way, especially over the later years. We need to understand that this aircraft has played a very stellar role over the years. Initially designed for interception, high-speed interception, it was a difficult aircraft to fly at lower speeds, and hence you must have come across a lot of landing and takeoff accidents which took place at the lower speeds. However, notwithstanding that, over the years, Indian Air Force also realized that it was a very stable platform for delivering air-to-ground munitions, and hence it beautifully evolved into a multi-role aircraft, and thus forming at one given time more than 60% of the fleet of the IF. It had done a stellar role, and it was iconic as well as it was the hero of the 1971 war. So we must not forget that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this tag came on later on. It had various reasons. One was it was an aerodynamically difficult aircraft to fly to start off with, but it was also a combination of factors wherein the spares became sparse, and some maintenance issues crept in, and hence so many accidents took place. So a very wrong metaphor, but we must always remember this legend as someone which did a creditable role all over the years.
Yes.
And had performed exceptionally well.
Yes, sir. So very quickly, I want to understand from you, because now what we understand is that there will be there is a requirement of more aircraft, as already was pointed out by Air Chief Marshal Air Chief Marshal AP Singh few days back, and now what we understand is that this strength will go down to 29 squadrons, combat squadrons. So what do you think is the best to fill in, and how can this this can be filled in?
I must admit that the chief had brought out very eloquently and aptly surmised the entire situation it is presently the IF is transiting through, and the factors have been many. Some can bring some politically motivated answers to it, but notwithstanding that, we had been late in revitalizing the aviation industry within the country. And that was the reason why we faltered as far as the reducing strength of the squadron is there. It is a serious matter, and I'm sure the present government is seriously looking into it very aptly, and they're trying to make up to it. But we must understand the aviation industry, unlike other industries, take times to. There is a very long gestation period. And once these things are, the results are likely to show up very soon. The factor which Air Chief had brought out recently, that there is a apt requirement and a very urgent requirement with regards to private sector, pitching in, is a very stellar statement, because this aspect needs to be looked very seriously. And once this thing grows up, I am sure that we have requisite expertise and brain, as well as the strength of the country's industrial base to pick up this aviation industry in a very fast manner, presently with the present government giving out the policies.
Group Captain Kaila, thanks so much for joining us with your views on that story. Viewers, we shift our focus to the final trending story of the show. US President Donald Trump has made it to the news yet again, but this time not for his outrageous remarks on NFL renaming or his Nobel claims of stopping the war between India and Pakistan. It's something to do with something that is out of the blue, and it is hilarious. In an official White House post, it's an official White House post, remember, on Instagram, the self-proclaimed title of Hunter was given to the president with a caption that says, and I quote, "They came after the wrong man," unquote. And of course, viewers, the internet cannot keep calm. It's an absolute meme bonanza out there after this. A user took to Instagram, calling the account very unprofessional. Another account slammed Donald Trump and called this a peak victim mentality. Clearly, the internet did not take very kindly to this post, and the comments are sheer mockery of his very public and very dramatic superiority complex. And this, of course, is when he said that I was hunted and now I am the hunter. This is what, in fact, he was trying to say in here. With that's a wrap up this edition of Trending Viewers. We'll be right back with the Super Prime Time Max Debate with Ornav Goswami. Thanks for watching.
इस साल का जो प्रॉफिट है इंटरेस्ट पे डाल देंगे, हर महीने ब्याज का पैसा आता रहेगा।
अगर रेगुलर इनकम ही चाहिए तो आप वो पैसे फिक्स्ड इनकम फंड्स में डाल दो।
वो क्या होता है?
फिक्स्ड इनकम म्यूचुअल फंड्स चुने हुए ब्याज देने वाली कंपनी बॉन्ड्स, गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स और मनी मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं। सिस्टमैटिक विथड्रॉल प्लान से आपको ऑन द डॉट फिक्स्ड अमाउंट भी आता रहेगा।
म्यूचुअल फंड में फिक्स्ड इनकम वाली बात सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
MDH की
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
This is going to help India in multiple ways. If you speak of the Indian Army, they have placed an order of the 6
As per sources, no farewell speech will be given by Jagdeep Dhankhar. After tech snag hits Air India flight, Air India issues statement saying aircraft grounded till further investigation. Big jolt to Congress. ITAT rejects Congress appeal against 199 crore tax assessment.
Related to fugitives from Indian law and Indian justice in the UK. These have been a matter of discussion between both sides. The case for these fugitives to be rendered to India.
This is India's massive push for extradition of fugitives. MESA is pushing for fugitives Nirav Modi and Malia to be rendered to India.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड भी, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप। Play it your way. Sarah, this is your space, play it your way.
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना,
अपने देश का सामान,
इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
India Zona. Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
I hereby rule that RSS is an organization that has full constitutional rights to participate in the development journey of this nation. This organization bears unimpeachable credentials, comprises of people who are deeply committed to serving the nation selflessly.
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has resigned due to health reasons, effective immediately, citing Article 67A of the Constitution. This makes him the third Vice President in Indian history to resign before completing his term, with 2 years remaining. Dhankhar's tenure was marked by his firm stance on constitutional propriety and national pride as Rajya Sabha chairman. He leaves behind a legacy of unwavering dedication to parliamentary dignity and defending India's sovereignty. Looking back at his tenure, our first defining moment takes us to December 2023, when TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee mimicked Dhankhar during a protest outside Parliament. The Vice President's response was swift and uncompromising.
Nothing will go on record, दिग्विजय सिंह जी, आप अनुभवी नेता हैं, आपने मेरी बात तो सुन, आप मेरी बात भी नहीं सुनना चाहते, नहीं, मेरी बात, मेरी पीड़ा नहीं सुनना चाहते। आप कहते हो 138 साल पुरानी पार्टी हो, क्या हुआ है? आपको सब पता है, आपकी चुप्पी मेरे कानों में गूंज रही है, खड़गे जी की चुप्पी मेरे कान।
Big controversy over Vice President Dhankhar's shocking exit. Was the government caught off guard by Dhankhar's resignation? Was there a feeling in government that Vice President was overstepping? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
I'm excited to be part of Republic AI Pre-Summit on July 25th, where we will be discussing India's AI leap, the innovations, the impact, and the future of artificial intelligence in shaping the new India. Hope to see you there.
I'm excited to be a part of the Republic TV AI Pre-Summit on July 25th, where we'll be discussing India's AI leap, the innovation, the impact, and the future of artificial intelligence in shaping a new India.
Sabha adjourned within minutes for second straight day. Indie leaders create ruckus over Bihar voter list revision. Election Commission of India submits affidavit in Supreme Court. Indie disrupts Parliament. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, Dhankhar quits. Was he being threatened with a counter-impeachment by both sides? Did he land himself in a soup of his own making? At 9 p.m. tonight, the same template used by Indie to disrupt House proceedings, the debate over the special revision of electoral rolls in Bihar has reached the top chord. And ladies and gentlemen, we now know for sure, we knew yesterday, but double sure and triple sure, that the Honorable Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankhar, has quit. It's a shock exit. But is it a shock to both sides? The government is shocked, but is the opposition really shocked? Why did Jagdeep Dhankhar call the Congress party's Jairam Ramesh, which it is believed to have happened between 7:30 and 8 p.m.? Was there a call? Was there a call? The question is, was there a call? I'm not saying conclusively that there was a call, but some people have said there was a call. So was there a call? And why on earth, ladies and gentlemen, would the Vice President of India, being the first person to quit voluntarily, not due to circumstances of fighting a presidential election or otherwise, like V.V. Giri or the others before him, but quitting a job of Vice President of India, call a Congress leader for a phone conversation on the eve of his resignation? That also, a Congress leader called Jairam Ramesh, who once led a no-confidence motion against him, why was he the last person to receive a phone call from Jagdeep Dhankhar before he quit? What were Jairam Ramesh and Jagdeep Dhankhar confabulating about? Because I assume, ladies and gentlemen, that by 7:30, Jagdeep Dhankhar had made up his mind to quit. Now there are two possibilities. That Jagdeep Dhankhar was considering resignation and confabulated on the issue with Jairam Ramesh, or Jagdeep Dhankhar had not decided to resign but decided to do so after confabulating with Jairam Ramesh. These are likely and strong possibilities that we cannot deny, and neither can we be stopped from speculating, because the speculation will happen. I believe, frankly, this is not about health. It's been building up for a while. Jagdeep Dhankhar is an interesting person. He does balance politics. Did he go overboard in getting into a political space? Did he try to shock the government? Why, if he was quitting, was there no prior signed farewell note, no transition ceremony? Why was this an attempt to grab a headline? Why do I have a feeling, ladies and gentlemen, that what Jagdeep Dhankhar wanted to do was to grab a headline? Because he was upset over something. Or maybe, after being threatened with an impeachment motion by the Congress party, no confidence motion by the Congress party, Did he go overboard in trying to placate the Congress party up to a point where he ended up upsetting the government? Is it true that while he was threatened with a no-confidence motion by the opposition, the government was also upset enough with him to possibly consider the same thing? So was he eventually caught between a political yo-yo, ladies and gentlemen, of his own making? You see, have no doubt about it, think logically. This is not the way to behave. And maybe my saying this will make sure that I am not the person to get an interview with Jagdeep Dhankhar. But I will say it. I don't care about those things anyway. The fact of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen. Did he go overboard in trying to make the Congress party happy to ensure that they don't try and throw him out of a job? Why did he criticize the agricultural policies of the government? The same government that appointed him, why did he make public statements criticizing the agricultural policy of the government and say that as the son of a farmer, he feels pained about the agricultural situation or the condition of farmers, unless he knew that by saying so, he would be doing a balancing act? And did he say this after? Why did he say this after earlier being threatened by the Congress party? Did the Congress party in that sense have a leverage on him? Did the government, and I'm asking, did the government tell him earlier, please pipe down, don't try to negotiate or be the indirect interlocutor between the government and the judiciary on issues like impeachment? These are matters for the law minister, duly elected of this government, duly elected government to handle. It is not the job of the vice president. In that sense, was he getting politically activist and politically ambitious? Ladies and gentlemen, how is it that the same opposition which tried to oust Dhankhar, who mocked him outside parliament, and you remember that when they were mocking him outside parliament, now they are calling him a man of conscience. They are urging Narendra Modi to reverse his resignation. In the end today, Jagdeep Dhankhar's resignation has left more questions than answers. First, the opposition moves to try and impeach him. Now the ruling party, was it planning to do the same? Did Dhankhar resign to preempt the possibility of institutional humiliation because he could get impeached by the government that elected him? What was this sudden exit? Was it an attempt to send a message to the BJP leadership? Was it an attempt to try and build a greater role for himself because he realized that this